Bow, 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 bow. Welcome to another edition of PWT Pro Wrestle Times podcast. I am your infallible host, Phil Marks. Where's my And I'm joined with Hairline, the EVP of PWT, and he gets a And then we got Marvin, the movie monster, here from Tooney Wrestling, Toon Wrestling over on YouTube. Yeah, couldn't pass up the opportunity for this episode. Unfortunately, Marv's just like the king of the Trashcast. He's always here when we're Trashcasting AEW.
Apparently, you must think I'm good at just like lambasting people.
Yeah, well, I mean, Oscar lives in a trash can, and you do know him, or you're related? No,
that's offensive. I gotta say, I'm offended.
Well, yeah, you know, Tony Khan had a meltdown, and he's.
Do you know every native in all Canada?
Well, apparently I'm related to Rubio, so we got or Rufio. Sorry,
you're related to Mark Rubio, the Cuban senator.
So yeah, guys, we're the plugs. Fuck the plug at Pro Wrestle Times everywhere. At Pro Wrestle Times on YouTube. That's the long form channel, the long form podcast. You're probably listening to this there. That's where the PWT live show replays air as well. But if you head to the main channel at Pro Wrestle Clips, that's where you get more interaction with the community. That's where you can become a member and be a part of our live shows. PWT live show every Saturday night. We'll be going this Saturday as well. And Marv is over at Toon Wrestling and at Movie Marvin on X. I think that's everything, right, fellas? At PWT Podcast on TikTok as well. Thank you. Marv, you got anything else you want to plug before we...
Tooney Talk Wrestling every Tuesday night live on YouTube. Live stream podcast. Phil, you guys are always welcome to join in. You did the first week. We had a stellar turnout. Super excited.
Yeah, it was such a fun time. And shout out WWF Cast. Shout him out, bro. I love you. I was just fucking around. We actually have a clip from that podcast to play on this show today because just something Dose was talking about on the show I found intriguing, so I timestamped it, and it's just kind of relevant to what's going on. So basically, let me take you over to my bookmarks, and we will start with it all started with John Alba, that pesky little motherfucker started this drama between Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan. I mean, there is always drama there. Regardless, just because of the fact that Eric is so critical, and we've covered on the show immensely, like, dude, how do you not listen to Bischoff? And there's people who maintain, Bischoff is just jealous and he wants a job and he wishes he was in wrestling and he wishes he ran a wrestling company, blah, 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 blah.
I'm fairly sure Eric is pretty happy doing what he's doing.
Man, yeah,
making money hand over fist, living in Wyoming and not having to travel.
Yeah, and just podcasting, like that is dream. You know, you're talking to the wrong people if you're trying to, so either way though, Tony Khan just calling people frauds and all type of shit. So I'm going to share my screen, just make sure everything's closed. Yep, everything's closed. Present the okay. Do. Here we go. And so we have John Alba here on the right side of my screen. You see at John Alba, who I actually unfollowed. It's crazy. I'm not using the type like this triggered me so much I have to unfollow. But goddamn, it's not even triggering. He just says shit where there's a reason Tony felt comfortable coming under John Alba's shit and trashing Eric Bischoff. Now, if I may, Eric Bischoff started 2 whole new fucking podcasts. So people underneath are going, like, we'll read what happened, but people are like, yeah, fucking Bischoff, a failing pod, all this shit. The thing is, he started 2 new ones. And one where he doesn't have to sit there and look at John Alba's schmarmy fucking face while he's, just...
I was not super familiar with John Alba. I didn't really watch Strictly Business unless it was like a clip that I wanted to see. But I have heard nothing but awful things.
I didn't get it at first. People were like, oh, he's such a prick. I was like, I don't know, man. It was same with Conrad. I didn't get it because I'm like you. I just watch clips, until now, like I got to listen to the whole thing because I love Eric so much. But anyways, where are we? So some news tonight. This is at John Alba. Some news tonight about the future of Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff. And the statement goes on to say, unfortunately, this week's episode of Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff will be the last edition of the podcast. Eric's schedule is loaded these days, and for good reasons. He'll be putting his efforts into other endeavors. I'm extremely grateful to have had a chance to share a platform with Eric for the past 2 years. We are 38 years apart. That's crazy. I didn't realize that. And have wildly different views of pro wrestling, storytelling, and even life. Yet I think that has been one of the most fascinating parts of our dynamic and never fails to make for engaging conversation. I have always said Eric is one of the greatest television performers in the history of wrestling, in wrestling history. And doing this show has been one of the most exciting challenges of my career. He has made me a better broadcaster, helped open new professional doors, been extremely gracious to me personally. I hope you'll join us this week as we bid farewell to the show. So, and shout out John, like that was very tasteful and wasn't shitty. And I doubt it's probably like an amicable parting. Is that the right word? Like I don't think this is like anything hostile between them, but I did tweet out the other day, the look on Eric's face when John Alba saying stupid shit is what gets me watching the podcast all the time. And so I don't know. Obviously they pick up on it too, and other people pick up on it too. And I just think Eric, it's like stressful for him sometimes having to sit there and listen to the way Alba like will try and justify some of this shit. So Tony Khan responds though, and Eric Bischoff's tagged in it. Tony Khan responds right underneath. This shit got 1.5 million views, almost 6,000 likes. And it says, this is at Tony Khan goes, and this is at 4 a.m., mind you guys. 4 fucking a.m. his time. People looked into it, okay?
Like Jericho.
Yeah.
On Christmas morning.
Right, drunk in a hotel, fucking shirtless, wearing fucking tiger slippers. Yeah. So, anyways, at Tony Khan, sunsetting this fraud of a business podcast before the next AEW media deal is a wise choice. So, listen to how he words it too. It's such a telling tweet. So, one last time, Tony Khan says, sunsetting this fraud of a business podcast before the next AEW media deal is a wise choice. Hashtag AEW Dynamite, sort of implying that the next media deal, which he didn't say TV deal.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice of words, was media deal.
Well, it lends to what Dose was saying on Toon Wrestling, Tooney Talk Wrestling. Shout out the show. We'll play that clip in just a moment. But he calls the podcast a fraud of a business podcast. And then he says before the next media deal is a wise choice, implying what? He's going to make Eric look stupid with whatever gets announced, but media deal, choice words there, which we'll delve into a bit. But I just want both of your guys' initial reaction to yet another Tony Khan Adderall 4 a.m. meltdown.
The first thing I want to point out is the tweet immediately under it where it says, I thought this was the fake Tony Khan account, which I think means Tooney Khan, which for the record, Tony, I do have the balls to have responded to that with Tooney Khan. I just don't get on that account as much anymore.
Right. And so and that's actually revealing to some. I don't know. I didn't know if everyone even knew that you were Tooney Khan. I don't even know if I knew that before that. But look,
how do people know that I'm not Tooney Khan?
I don't know. It's pretty obvious. I'm just twisting titties here. But here's the thing, though, because he hashtags Dynamite, and then right underneath, Tony responds to the tweet you pointed out here. He responds to it and goes, he didn't have the balls to do it himself, like laughing and gifting, which like it'd be funny if he gift people like in a funny way, but it's the fact that this is how the toxic fucking nerds act, and this is why it's like the fan base, like they're just copying what Tony does, you know, and they think it's okay. But Hairline, I just want your thoughts. Like, what do you think? Another Tony Khan, this will be great. Let me go at Eric Bischoff.
So do either of you guys follow Elon Musk or anything? Because like this is exactly how he acts when he throws a fucking tantrum on fucking Twitter, formerly fucking whatever the fuck.
Wow. Yeah, my buddy Apollo has a theory about Elon Musk that he's an alien from the future who's just trying to get home. And I think that the science supports that if you look deeply enough into it.
Yeah, I always said I was like, yo, he shot rockets up to space with cameras. He realized they've been lying about the Earth is flat, and then he came back and started trying to expose Illuminati. That was my joke. I don't know.
Okay, anyways, this is the same shit Elon Musk does when he starts using GIFs and fucking
like a billionaire not having his way, kind of is what you're picking up from it.
Yeah, it just seems to be like a spoiled rich kid tantrum thing.
Yeah, I could. I just think he's also got a lot of vitriol towards Eric. He thinks Eric's undermined him, doesn't value him, doesn't appreciate his shitty, mediocre, fucking angle storytelling, which we'll get into with a fucking Meltzer moment we got over here because he's finally piped up. And sorry, just Meltzer. He hasn't put over. Just to sidetrack for a second, he hasn't put over the Raw one bit. He's just fucking. Like he's just talking about the negatives. Oh, everyone was shocked about Vince and everyone. That's a topic for another time. But fucking Dave, dude, you're spiraling, bro. Like he couldn't even say one positive thing about the Raw. He's just coping over the negative things backstage that weren't really negatives, but I think they should be. So fucking just goobery. But,
you know what? You know what's funny? I had kind of an epiphany this week about like the way I conduct myself on Twitter, and I realized that I was being kind of like tribalist and like overly angry to the point where it was like affecting my own mental health. And what made me realize that is watching Dave Meltzer do this stuff. Yeah. I was like, man, am I acting like Dave Meltzer? Man, that's like a scared straight moment.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That's a good epiphany to come to.
Oh no.
So just some of the responses are fucking hilarious. So Tony, he does that, whatever. But yeah, so basically calls Eric a fraud of a business podcast media deal, which we'll get into what Evil Dose said. Shout out Evil Dose. But down here, just AR Gold. Congrats, Tony. AEW has outlived Bischoff's tenure as WCW president and his podcast. And I just wrote, he just started a new podcast with someone else, bro. Please get the balls out of your mouth. This one's hilarious. At Rascal Thunder, it's 4 a.m. Where's my motherfucking laptop?
Oh, totally. That's exactly what happened.
Oh, dude. Well done, mate, because you really do love wrestling. You're just a glorified Brian Last giving this con man a platform. What the fuck? And they tagged Conrad. Whoa.
Carmine Sabia. Is that the Carmine Sabia that used to be an indie promoter?
Are you kidding? You're could be. Are you kidding? You're let's see, Christian.
Yes, that's him.
Journalist. Okay.
That's him.
So he says.
So let me tell you. Can I just like take a deviation here? Like I never met the man, but like I used to follow the indies in the Northeast, and he was kind of legendary because he was a wrestling promoter who never went to his own show. He had agoraphobia. He wouldn't leave his house. So he would literally book his shows and then have his mother run them for him at the show.
His mom.
Yeah, and then like when he would bring in draws, they would have to come to his house to meet him.
My word, dude. But it's a good business model. He goes on mom if anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Your entire company is a fraud of a business. If you listen to even 10% of what Eric Bischoff said, you might see an increase in ratings. You only want to listen to people who praise you because they want access to the locker room or your cash. Yeah, I'm just here to say John Alba is a hard worker and doesn't deserve to get wrapped up in this. Okay, thanks. Bye. I mean, yeah, she does have a point, like Tony. Fucking.
By the way, agoraphobia notwithstanding, from what I never went to an SSCW show, but what I understand is Carmine ran some pretty cool shows.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't hating, dude. You just came with the little tidbit of fucking fat. That's what you get here in PWT. Little tidbits of wrestling you wouldn't have otherwise known. So, yeah. So Tony Khan, Eric Bischoff rather goes to respond to Tony Khan, which I must have bookmarked.
Yeah, I had to have.
I had to have. There's no way I didn't fucking.
Oh, good. You got the quarter hours.
Yeah, I do. I got it all, bruv. I got it all. Bruv. No, dude. I swear to God. Okay, so when I I'm starting to notice a pattern here. When I bookmark on my
just go to Bischoff's page. I'm sure it's like right up there on the top.
Exactly. When I bookmark on my phone, it some of them don't go through. I'm starting to notice. Oops, I misspelled.
I got a Eric Bischoff retweet today, actually.
Did you? Good.
Oh, I got a quote tweet, actually. You'll see it here.
Okay, so his replies. So here, Tony thought he cooked. We'll just read some shit. Tony thought he cooked, only for Eric to say, "Nah, bitch, I'm multiplying." But I do have to give him credit for giving me a great title for that series.
Wise choices.
So let's see here. We'll find it. True, but okay. Here we go. Marv, Movie Monster says, "I'm."
You want me to read it in my voice?
Yes, please. Yeah. You're here. You might as well.
I'm sure Eric Bischoff sees Tony Khan's 4 a.m. meltdown of a strictly business for what it is. What Tony unknowingly did while taking his victory lap, like the Young Bucks in front of an empty arena after Punk was fired, was create a ton of interest in whatever Eric is going to have to say on the next 83 weeks. That means more views, more YouTube ad revenue, more people using the promo codes, more money in Eric's pocket. Because as strictly business taught us, business is about making money. Tony is great at generating interest and ratings for shows that aren't his own. It's as true with Eric as it was with Ariel Helwani.
Don DeMarco, just kidding. But dude, you dropped the bomb on everyone. And then Eric Bischoff quote tweets that and goes, and watch for a special announcement within hours. Oh, dude, you're getting the fucking rub. Marv's getting the rub.
I think that's like the second or third time he's quote tweeted me. So I do enjoy that. It always makes me happy.
Yeah, it's good to see you're in his like algorithm. So
apparently,
Don Stevens, who I've been, I've got some
cool guy,
I've got some documents. Yeah, good guy. I don't know whether he's spitting facts, but he does have these papers that I don't see why he doctored these, and I've seen so many of them that I don't know. I think he's a real guy. He told me he's going to come on the podcast PWT just once he retires after this year. He's like, I'm done after this year. My voice will give me away. I'll come on your pod when it's done. So I'm holding to that.
He's going to come on and he's going to be like, oh, hell yeah. How's it going? I'm here.
Oh, my God, dude. So WrestleTix, he quote tweeted wise choices, AEW money, hashtag money mark. Eric Bischoff does. He quote tweets WrestleTix, who show the empty fucking building. And look at this building for Dynamite. This is when Osprey's in the ring to open the show. Look at this building. Can you folks see that? I mean,
my goodness. There's more top than human being.
This there was 3,400 tickets distributed. The building holds like 14,000 people.
No, oh my God. So over 10,000 empty seats.
Yeah.
They don't just let you rent the chunk of arena that you sell. You have to rent the whole arena. But like what I said, why not run like smaller buildings like the Manhattan Center or like Hammerstein Ballroom?
Right.
Like
you just put them over a week ago for doing it. So
you'd have that more grassroots feel. And somebody was like, oh, well, they wouldn't be able to get this stage. I'm like, good. Like we don't need like the stage. Having a stage is not as good as having a full arena. I'm sorry. Like WWE brought out their smallest set on Raw this past week because they wanted to pack more people in.
Yeah, and so Bischoff's starting this new show with this guy here, who I gave a follow to. What's his name? Brad Pack, and he's an author, and they started a new show called The Six Pack. So he just ditched Alba for another dude who's probably just going to be objective. Look at guys here. So Eric Bischoff goes on to tweet, a money mark with no talent other than spending daddy's money, going all the way to Canada to draw less than 4K in one of the hottest pro wrestling markets in North America. Talk about, quote, wise choices. Strap in. It's going to be a fun day. Fuck, man. Bodied. And look at this building. This is for, I believe it's Ring of Honor. Look at the ring, right? So they do the ring switch. Yeah, so if you've ever been to one of these guys, they do the rings. They switch the apron and everything quickly. And they're like, oh, everyone's sticker. They do it for Rampage too. Literally, in between Dynamite and Rampage, Kenny Omega came out and told us to make sure we give all the wrestlers love, even the ones we don't like. Make sure we're showing everyone love.
Be disingenuous.
And so I was like, man, because, dude, I booed Daniel Garcia like my fucking life was on the line. You know, like if I cheered for him, I was going straight to hell. I was booing that motherfucker, and they were trying to get him over with that dick wiggle stuff. And I was like, nah. So, but Kenny and the Bucks came out after Rampage and were like, or between, and we're like, yeah, don't like, or show love to the ones. I know you guys like to boo, but show love to the ones. So whatever. But look at this, and this is what it's like, man. There's this many people at Ring of Honor, like,
Christ.
There were more people at Ring of Honor shows on the Indies in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and people were like, well, Ring of Honor was out of business before Tony bought it, whatever. It's like, yeah, but WWE would have bought all the tapes too. You can't say this is better for Ring of Honor.
It's not. It is
not.
It's like I would rather be dead than be a vegetable.
It's diminishing its fucking what it once was. Like, this is what Vince did.
And the reason why Ring of Honor was dead was because Tony killed it.
Right.
You know, like he didn't like swoop in like some benevolent savior. He ran it out of business and then bought it. He did what Vince did.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, sorry, Hairline. What were you gonna say?
I was just booming. What?
Oh, you're just booming. You're just ad-libbing. Yeah, what? Whoop that trick.
Yeah, stand up, Marv the Monster, y'all.
So we're gonna stick on. We're just gonna stick on AEW stuff here because there's a lot. We're gonna do WWE stuff on the live show, guys, with Meltzer, and just some other great WWE announcements. But because I want to talk about the Dynamite, and I got the quarter hours here, which I don't do. People, you're stealing Cornette's bit, and it's like, dude, he didn't invent EFAP. Just people are like, I saw this on Cornette's show. It's like, yeah, I don't do it all the time, but like you got to do it in certain instances. Anyways, though, at Machiavelli DTA, shout them out because they're a good follow.
Great account. It's a good follow.
So Dave Meltzer, who's been, I brought it up early. I didn't mean to hotshot it, but it's just, it had to be said. Like, he hasn't said one nice thing about Raw, and WWE Raw's trending right now in Canada. So I don't know why, but he couldn't say one good thing, but here's him sticking up for AEW lately after they did an abysmal fucking rating. We're going to go into how bad the rating actually was for the Dynamite. So Dave Meltzer says the problem isn't that AEW doesn't have storylines. It's that they have too many.
It's just too much for the average viewer to wrap their head around because it's so complex and
And I didn't hit the flute, but we're gonna do it right now.
Yeah,
because I didn't even think I was gonna do a Dave Meltzer dummy moment of the week because I didn't have one until literally a millisecond before we came on. I go, I'm bookmarking this. So, anyways, this is at EJ Malteza, if that's how you pronounce it. It's so they tweeted out, it's possible, and this is, hold on, so just I want to paint the picture. This person, Manny, we'll call them Manny, is replying to I don't even see Meltzer. Now it says Samir 313 and two others, maybe one of them's Meltzer, but like he's in some conversation in the weeds with some marks. Why is Dave even responding to this in the first place? So Manny says it's possible to book in a way to make quality matches mean something. Ricochet versus JD McDonough is a perfect example. In the last 3 weeks, they were telling the story that Ricochet is a thorn in the side of Judgment Day. They gave ba. He goes on to explain it. At Dave Meltzer, WON, responds to this, quote tweets it and goes, if you watch AEW, they do that much for almost every match and more for a ton. Just listen to this sentence. If you watch AEW, they do that much for almost every match and more for a ton. What? The fuck are you even talking about? And then he goes on to say AEW does so many stories at once you can't remember them, which is the issue, man.
They're cooking with so much gas that you choke on it and die.
It's not that they don't do stories. They do so many at once that you can't even remember them all, man. That's the issue. It's so nuanced.
Now you're starting to sound like Triple H.
Well, I'm just trying to, it's just he's sitting here like it's some psychedelic. You got to smoke ayahuasca to understand it, bro. It's so deep. AEW so deep. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You have to have a 6-figure annual income to be able to understand.
Yeah, dude. And it's what Eric Bischoff says. It's not that it's a bunch of storylines. It's a bunch of cheap angles, and they're elementary. As a fucking writer, I'm going to put myself out there and say it's elementary, novice level shit, basic storyline, or it's like the beginning of something that doesn't get followed up on, or there's no sensibility, and and then people want to go, like Dave goes, there's so many stories happening at once you can't even tell what's going on. Okay, but then when you bring up, why is it two heels fighting for the belt? Like, who am I supposed to it's the modern day and heels are but that's not storytelling then, right? Because storytellings are about it. Right. Protagonist and antagonist, vocation. Why are they doing things? What are they doing? Why do they need to do this thing? Those are the questions that need to be answered, and those don't get answered in these storylines. It's just like, I don't know, at the everything. Like, even just take Christian Cage. Like, he's doing great. He's great on the mic. Even take like an angle that people like. They put over Christian Cage. Okay, but like, what is Mama Wayne's and Nick Wayne? Like, why is Mama Wayne just hanging out? Like, Oh, he's manipulated the mind. Excalibur just goes, oh, and Mama Wayne's been influenced by the patriarch. It's like, no, that's not what's telling a fucking story. That's just like doing an angle, then having an announcer just explain his fantasy Mark way that like, show me why, tell me why, explain it why. That's what a story is. So I shouldn't even have to explain this shit, but yeah, Dave Meltzer is just absolutely fucking spiraling, and he's lost all credibility, and we're just going to keep cooking him until the ends of time. Your guys' thoughts on Dave here?
I mean, he's clearly talking at his ass, trying desperately to defend, Tony. He's the chief Tony defender, and what I said the other day on Twitter X was basically he needs this division, he needs this tribalism, he needs to foster that flame, because the only way he continues to exist is if people think that like he's like the journalistic mouthpiece of the revolution, like he's the guy to follow because he's got the inside scoop on everything we need to know, and he's being proven time and time again to just be a complete nut. He's everything Eric Bischoff says that he is: a useful idiot, a complete fraud. There's nothing to him. There's nothing.
Dummy.
Yeah, man. Hairline, what are you thinking about this guy?
So, like, did you guys see where he was arguing with Alvarez about, like, how it makes sense in wrestling logic that...
Right.
It doesn't make logical sense, but it makes wrestling booking sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make logical sense, no, but it makes booking sense.
Versus fucking the Boomba Clock Club.
The Bumba Clock Club?
Oh, no.
Oh man, yeah. So just like exactly, Hairline's just like, dude, what do you expect? Yeah, you're just. I already know. Hairline's like, dude, fuck these guys. Like they're just goofballs. So, but yeah, Hairline, like I don't know, man. Just the whole storyline thing. We harp on the story so much. It's why WWE is so compelling. I mean, Dave's just fucking losing it. And then, yeah, I don't know. And exactly like the perfect example, I was saying, like, if Dave Meltzer doesn't show up blowing that JD McDonough Ricochet match, then he's a fucking fraud, because just period. If he doesn't give that shit 7 stars, he's a fucking fraud.
There was too much selling involved, too much selling, but not enough at the same. How much you want to bet he's going to be like, well, after that Canadian Destroyer, he was up pretty quickly.
Right. And, I fucking guarantee it. And also, so here, I'm going to share this other screen, but we covered on the show yesterday with Paul Nolan, Hairline and myself talked about, we played a clip about Kenny Omega burying Dave Meltzer's star rating, saying, I wouldn't have given there's a bunch of matches I wouldn't given stars to. Kenny started reviewing his old matches and reviewing them. So Paul Nolan's like, I read one of them, and it's way more compelling than Dave's shit. Like he's actually critical of himself and all of these sort of things. And and Kenny goes on to say, like, dude, Kurt Angle's the GOAT and all this shit. He's like, that's my GOAT, So like, how the fuck?
How much of this do you think is Omega being kind of salty that Dave has kind of moved on to Osprey?
That's
like
what
his guy,
100%.
Right? So yeah, we pointed that out on the show. Like it's a bit of that, but at the same time, I think it's you remember. So Paul Nolan pointed out, he's like, do you remember when Kenny Omega was backstage and was like, I wouldn't have hired 80% of you? Like that's what came out of their backstage meeting. So people were like, oh, that rubbed people the wrong way, and people don't like that. He seems like like Cornette and Brian Laster, like, people we talk to thinks he's a goof and stuff, and I could totally see that and how he comes across the wrong way. But Paul Nolan pointed out as well, he's like, well, but maybe that's him also just being like, no, like, I don't think a lot of you guys are good workers. And Omega talks about the selling, the in-between stuff, and how I explained it to Hairline and Paul. I was just saying, like, dude, it's the little things in between he does, where like the reason he comes across so cartoony and goofy is because he's really trying to sell. But my interpretation of Kenny is that he's forcing this fast-paced style to pop that audience, but he does understand, which Marvel say, well, he knows how to do it, so he should do it right. And you are right about that. But I think Kenny, I don't know, he just seems like he was just kind of burying the whole notion of like AEW and fucking Dave Meltzer and basically what all of those and what they embody, basically. You know what I mean? He buried it all and then went on to say Kurt Angle's the GOAT, and fucking it couldn't be funnier, in the middle of this Dave spiral. I just think it's hilarious. So here, sorry, I just want to pull up the okay, so we have Dynamite. I just want to go over this card quickly. because we do like to do reviews. I got Bleacher Report here, and is it Eric Beeston? That's our guy. No, it's Doc Chris Mueller. So Eric Beeston, he's good at being honest and giving everything a fair shake. But like, I don't know, Nolan was like, yo, Bleacher is owned by Warner and they do shill to AEW a little bit, so but we just use the site because the way they lay it out, you know.
Right, great.
Yeah, so it's great, it's so great, and what's the best thing ever and the safest company ever is Will Ospreay versus Katsuyori Shibata. So they kick things off. We saw the video of the attendance, man. It was fucking abysmal. Ospreay comes out. Now he's over. Everyone's cheering for him, but they start the show with this match. He's just wrestling Shibata out of nowhere. And then you have Excalibur quickly going, oh, their lineage in Japan. And we saw the video the other week where whatever of their history. And then Ospreay hits him with a fucking tiger driver right on his head. Dave Meltzer one time said that Shibata got his brain removed and then put back into his skull.
You know what? People talk about that all the time. I have no idea what they're referring to.
So Shibata was forced to retire in New Japan because he did a headbutt spot where he headbutted a motherfucker, and it actually fucked him up. Then they did some like advanced type of brain surgery on him, which is like a real thing. But what Dave literally went out and said, he's like, yeah, they did the one-of-a-kind surgery. They removed his brain from his head and put it back in his head. That's fucking Dave said that, man. This is not a joke. So, yeah, and it wasn't that at all. You know what I mean? Or like he didn't even get brain surgery. He got like, or maybe he did. I'd have to Google it, but he did get some sort of like new type of surgery. And then Dave is like, oh, it's this advanced Japanese, sir. They removed his brain and put it back in his head. Like he had to have his brain removed and put back, is like what he said and inferred it or implied at least. So I don't know. It's just ridiculous. But then in this match, Shibata's eating Ospreay's like elbow to the fucking head, and he eats a tiger driver. Now they did it pretty safe. Even the AEW fans were like, this match didn't live up to the hype. And to me, well, because Ospreay's trying to take care of Shibata, and to me, it's just a long match that meant fucking nothing for nobody. Just there's not, and like the production's so bad because they're filming around the empty building, and this is just an ass way to start off this fucking show. This guy graded.
Is it one of those? Is that one of those? Million different stories that they're concurrently running at the same time. That maybe that's why we didn't get it, because there's just so many stories going on.
What's the story here? Oh well, in New Japan they feuded over. Oh,
great! That's a story for a match for them in New Japan.
In Quebec.
What's your story for you?
Exactly. Yeah, what the fuck? So, Hairline, what was your thoughts on this match?
Man, so like honestly, you kind of ruined Will Ospreay for me. Like when you pointed out his Impact run, how it was all like it's just this move, and then he's fucking stepping on his own dick and making the next move not be as valuable, and it's just that again and again and again and again. And he wrestles that match every single fucking time, dog, with 200 kickouts.
Yep. It's once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's pretty glaring. So then there's some backstage shit, I don't even know, but we get the Young Bucks versus Private Party. Now, did you guys see the clip on X? I didn't get a bookmark of it, but basically, well, there's two things. Let me fucking find it. I'm gonna have to just find it. But basically, this match they're hyping it up. Oh, this was Private Party's first match in AEW, and they actually won against the Bucks. And like that just goes to show you, like, they get nobody over because Private Party, no one even remembers who the fuck they are. The crowd didn't care, and they came in and just did basically flippy shit. Hairline, what's your thoughts on this as I pull up these clips here of the Young Bucks?
How the hell did this get a B? That's where I want to start.
What the fuck, Doc? How did you give it a B?
It was not a B, dude. I don't know. It was just fucking filler. The Bucks are really over with me right now, though. That promo they did with fucking Renee Moxley, good, where he was all like, "Oh, Marv's more pretty than you."
Yeah,
good shit, brother.
It's good shit, pal. So I'll share with you this screen quickly. I want to show you the so here's a botch. This is how they botched the finish, though. So the Bucks botched the finish fucking brutally. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's them fucking watch this. You see that?
Oh, man.
Fucking fuck. And then they also on the entrance here, Young Bucks entrance, they did a Codevator, they did an elevator, and they botched it to where, watch this, I don't want to get pulled down by fucking AEW, I'm not going to play the sound, but the elevator didn't work, so they had to like duck.
Oh yeah, so
watch this shit, dude. Like the elevator wouldn't go up, so they were like here, like the elevator stopped working. Or was it on this, or was it on Collision? Fuck. Okay, it might have not been on Dynamite. Yeah, it was.
What you're referencing to is when they came out later on in the show.
Oh yeah, so they come out later on in the show, and the elevator botches. Yeah, so this entrance, basically they stole the Rock / Roman / Austin Theory's entrance and kind of amalgamated it into one. But yeah, there was one. Where is it? Anyways, just take my word for it. There, you'll find the clip online. They come out later in the show through the elevator, and it fucking botches, and they're like ducking down and then fake going up because the elevator gets stuck or whatever. It was fucking hilarious. And yeah, I was putting the Bucks over, but this was just an awful edition of Dynamite. And I don't know, I like their gimmick and stuff, but they're just slipping and botching their entrance, and they're just coming across as goofballs. And
it's too little too late with them. They have just been what they've been for so many years. I don't think you can reinvent yourself now. I don't know. Some people can do it. Jericho did it. Hogan did it. I don't think they can do it.
I absolutely concur with that. And Hairline.
I got something quick. Speaking of people rejuvenating their career, the new Marvin the Movie Monster clip over on Tooney Town Wrestling. the Dusty Rhodes.
Oh yeah, the face lock feature that we did, which was 5 wrestlers who torpedoed their legacy and 5 who saved them.
Right.
Yeah.
I tried. Sorry.
Make sure you guys go and watch that video if you have not yet.
I was really concerned. I didn't think people were gonna like it because it's not like super comedic. Tooney's not in it. Trip's not in it.
Yeah.
But people really liked it. So I guess we're gonna do more of those.
Yeah, well, people like you, Marv. That's the whole thing, right?
So I thought people just like the other characters, but okay.
No, man, it's definitely just whatever you got going on, it's working. So just more of it. That's what I say. Okay, so yeah, they're just botching it up. The fucking let's go back to this Dynamite, and we'll just keep slugging through this. So to me, I just kept tuning out of this episode. I was not invested. They just lost me. I was putting the show over for 2 weeks, and the Mercedes stuff really bummed me out. Which let me just see back. Okay, no. So we get Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, Anna Jay, Willow Nightingale in a fucking messy 4-way. Anna Jay, it's like she's 1 and 8 or some shit. She's in a title eliminator. Mercedes Monet's on commentary. Tony Khan goes, "Oh no, actually, when I announced the rankings and posted the rankings, those weren't actually the rankings." So you guys remember he brought the rankings back 2 weeks ago or whatever. He went on to say he posted a new graphic with the new rankings.
Oh my god.
But he goes, "Actually, I was kidding about the other ones. The new rankings start next week."
It was all a joke, and you fell for it.
Dude, literally, man, it's fucking insane, dude. So
April Fools. I'm so ahead of the game that I'm doing April Fools jokes in March.
Yeah, April Fools, but a month early. Get it?
We'll never see it coming.
It's great. It's great. Oh my god, dude. It's just embarrassing. And then they have Monet out here. She comes out. The crowd isn't as into it as they were before. What crowd? But I don't, whatever. 3K, that's a good house, I guess, if it wasn't in a 14,000 seater.
She's old news already. That's the problem.
Yeah,
she's old news already.
Exactly. And it's fickle fucking fandom. I knew it's just because this is why too. Everyone's like, "Oh, I want to see her in bangers with fucking Willow and fucking Statlander and fucking I want to see against Hayter, who's injured, who's had like a career-threatening fucking injury. I want to see her against like all these names. They're naming it Mariah May. It's like, dude, Mariah May is literally doing Tony Storm's WWE gimmick. That's her gimmick. Tony Khan's like, "Oh, I know, Mariah May will introduce you as a generational talent on commentary, and then you'll just do Tony Storm's WWE gimmick. It'll be great. It's fucking insane. And so now so I called it. They're going to have Edge be the TV champ for the men, and Mercedes is going to be the TV champ for the women because she's in line for the TBS title shot. And also, like, Sky Blue's in this match, but she's friends with Julia Hart. So what the fuck's going on there?
Is she in the match, or is she on commentary?
Well, Mercedes isn't in the match. Sky Blue, though, is in the match. Who's Julia's tag team partner? So like, why is she even in the match? All you have to, and then Statlander and Willow are partners. And then you have Anna Jay, who's just keeps getting hurt because randomly she comes back once a month and does a hardcore match. And that's literally what it is. I'm not even making that up. So So Mercedes, she's on commentary. That's
what people want to see. They want to see her on commentary.
Bro, and so the camera's not on her, and then when they do go to her, she has nothing to say. There's no one in her headset telling her, like, not that you need Vince go, yeah, they'll put over the fucking Beyblade. You know, like, yeah, put over how big his pecs are. Like,
but I mean, are we like, are we maybe believing that she's not medically cleared to wrestle yet? Like, why are they not having her actually fight?
I just think that Tony, because this is why she's on a part-time deal. It's on some Hogan shit where she only has to have X amount of matches, but X amount of appearances. I guarantee that's what it is. And and that's just what it is, bro. So she's a part-timer, just like Edge is a part-timer, just like all these guys are part-timers. And everyone's like, oh, I want to see her wrestle this guy and this guy and this guy. She's going to have 10 matches over the next 3 years, guys. Okay, because she's going to go do Hollywood shit. She's going to go write a book. She's going to do all this.
She's not going to do Hollywood
I'm not saying she's going to be this big star, but
she's going to try to do Hollywood shit.
She has connections, dude. They like her over at Disney, you know?
But if they can't call her WWE superstar Sasha Banks, there's no point. It's, and yes, they called her. She was Mercedes Fernando in The Mandalorian. But what did she had? What did she have? One line in The Mandalorian. She bumped Boba Fett once. That was it.
Right, but I mean, all I'm saying is, fuck even that show. Like, there's other production companies that maybe she's in some fucking low budget Hulu show or something. So at some point,
Blood and Honey 3.
We don't, dude. You know, we don't shut out Winnie the Pooh. We don't know. All I'm saying is that she has aspirations that aren't solely wrestling focused. Is just the point I'm trying to make. Like, fuck, I don't know if she's gonna be a big mega star. I don't see her that way either.
I think she's gonna be as successful in non-wrestling ventures as Chris Jericho.
Yeah, so she's going to get super over when she comes back to WWE. Like, the crowd will pop for her, welcome home. She'll get that treatment, da-da-da-da-da. But we're not getting these bangers with all of these people because these people aren't signed to fucking do that. And then when Tony Khan does have Edge, what does he do? He puts him on Collision and he wrestles Daniel Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
And then Daniel Garcia takes Edge to the limit. And you're just sitting there going, whoa. Like, this is really like a diluted thing. So whatever, Hairline, your thoughts on this fucking match? This was a bunch of people all over the place doing spots. Oh, the point I want to make, the match went on too long and Mercedes sitting there for long periods of time, not saying anything, not being entertaining. And the match is so long that it's too long to get her over or get their angle over or get over the fact that fucking their because they did a face-off kind of after where, like, Mercedes is standing on the outside and Julia's on the inside of the ring with the belt and they're staring each other down. No one gave a fuck. The crowd gave a cricket's anti-reaction because there was, like, Mercedes couldn't get over on TV in this. It was just all around bad. And then these girls are doing all these spots they can't do, not shitting on women. I like Willow, I like Stat, but it's just, what the fuck is going on here? So, I guess Mercedes is going to be your next TBS champion. Hairline, what are your thoughts on the match, please? If you're with us. May have a connection issue, but okay, well, we'll move along. Stokely Hathaway, though, is funny. And here's the problem, though, too. This is what they had Stokely do. Because he accompanies Statlander and Willow, who are a tag team. He accompanied Willow to the ring, ran back up the ramp, and then accompanied Statlander down to the ring. That's what he did. And you're just sitting here going, what the fuck? So the Best Friends took on the ROH Tag Team Champions, Undisputed Kingdom, in an AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament. Like, come the fuck on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's Cassidy and Beretta. and it makes no sense. And the best friends win, dude. So hairline. I want your thoughts on this. So I want your thoughts on the 4-way, and then I just want your thoughts on this tag match.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good, bruv.
All right, so yeah, go back up quick.
For sure.
So, all right, first off, Statlander, she did okay. She was trying, but like when it's kind of like similar to Charlotte. It's like Charlotte's working with what she has, and most people fucking suck. Anyways, Sky Blue was pretty entertaining. I 100% agree with you about Monet on the commentary. She needed someone in her ear telling her what to fucking plug and yada yada yada. Because like, I don't know, man. Like her without writers is fucking. Yeah.
Well, she has Peppermint. Where was Peppermint at?
Right. I don't know what the fuck Anna J has to do.
She can't script her on a commentary track.
Well, just someone give her some fucking notes. Like, where's someone who can not script, but like just is there some fucking jot notes someone could just go, hey, Monet, remember this? But you have Tony. We watched it on AEW.
Alternately, we could hire people that don't need that. And present them as big stars.
Actually, that would be the easy thing. And then also, though, like we see Tony on All Access where he's yelling in the mic, I love that. That's great. That's who's yelling in your ear. That's fucking crazy. Sorry, hairline.
Give me more time. Yeah, and Willow's great. Oh yeah, really good. And it's a goddamn shame that they're gonna have Willow fucking dethrone fucking Hart just to give the fucking belt to Sasha. Oh yeah, it's another fucking NJPW storyline here in AEW. It's great.
Oh man.
Okay, and I want to say one last thing. Hold on, before this isn't about that, but can we just point out how Tony flew out fucking Okada this week just so he could watch the Young Bucks match backstage?
Crazy.
What the fuck was that?
Well, I just think he pre-taped it and then they just showed it on the TV and then they lied because they did that with Christian. They got caught showing a thing that Christian taped in Collision. They did the same thing and put a Dynamite logo on it one week and pretended he was backstage, and Twitter pointed it out. So yeah, they just pre-taped it. But yeah, so and then hairline, your thoughts on so they have the Ring of Honor World Tag Champs in an AEW World Tag Championship tournament. What the fuck? And they lose to the best friends after they spent a year building up these devil geeks. I love Mike Bennett. I like Matt Taven, but your thoughts?
It's such a waste of Trent Beretta, and at the same time, it's such a waste of fucking Bennett, And it's just like Orange Cassidy can fuck all the way off. Honestly, with fucking Tony's fucking bullshit, I'm not sure if the Bucks are going to take the tag titles or if fucking these guys are going to take the tag titles. You know what I'm saying?
Hairline, be careful. Phil has a Orange Cassidy t-shirt. He might get offended.
No. Yeah, man. If you go back to like the very first episodes of PWT, it's like he used to be so pro fucking AEW, but fucking she hit the iceberg and fucking started sinking.
It's the fans, man. It's what people pointed out. They're like, they see how Tony acts, and then they go, because like once I started the pod, I started being like vocally critical, and then it's just I don't know, Murder She Wrote from there, I guess, if that makes any sense. So then the main event, Konosuke Takeshita versus Swerve Strickland, top rope, catch a vibe. So I love Swerve. I like Takeshita, but again, he's just Swerve is menacing and evil. Takeshita's been a fucking heel. It just, why waste either of these guys in this match when they're not connected in any way? And it was a good match, I guess, but it was just like Konosuke Takeshita kicking out of all of Swerve's shit. So why do I think Swerve's going to beat Joe, which I don't want him to anymore? At one point, I was like, Swerve should be the one to beat MJF. Then they had him invade a baby's crib. And I'm just like, okay, now they have to have him like save a nun from a burning church in order to redeem him. And they just haven't been able to redeem him for me. But he's super over. I like Nana. I like the presentation, all that. And then, but you have this stud in Takeshita. This should be your international champion right here. And yeah, dude, just it was an okay match. This guy gave it a B+. I'd say that's fair, but it was also just a lot of kickouts and false finishes for me. And yeah, your thoughts, Hairline.
So like, what really like caught me up here was like, Takeshita really like had a lot of good facials during this match and the way he would sell things, and like he even tried to like hype up the crowd at one point. So like, I don't know, man. I really thought Swerve made him look good with all the fucking selling and all that, but definitely fucking the match fucking went on way too long, but
and who's your world who's your world title contender like between these two after that match? Like, oh, Swerve's supposed to be going for the world, like Joe killed both these guys is basically how it came across. It's just so silly that every match they go to the limit. Oh, I want wrestling. You got the wrestling fans with the stopwatches. That's the current gimmick on Twitter now. Oh, we time every single thing. It's just fucking nuts, man.
It's like, hey, Tony, the pay-per-views are supposed to be what the taking the people to the limit thing is supposed to be for.
But, yeah, man. It's selling for a reason. We talked about it with Paul Nolan. It's called selling because it sells. It's the selling part. That's the whole point of it. The fact this even needs to be said. So we go over to the ratings now, what everybody came to see. And
mind you, these are the ratings that came out after he was lambasting Eric Bischoff at 4 a.m.
So to bring it full circle, he was talking trash on Eric Bischoff until 4 a.m. and or at 4 a.m. rather is when he started. Who knows when he because he's just sitting there. He likes to troll, you can kind of tell, but he takes it personally. But either way, here we go. So first we have at Etten Gregory posted these, so thank you. And these are the quarter hours for Quatra hours for Nielsen, who some people say that's not legit. And remember, now we're going to bring this all full circle. Tony Khan said media rights. He didn't say TV. So I think he doesn't care about TV anymore, which we're going to play Dose's clip quickly as well. But that's the sizzle to the steak daddy right here. The quarter hours. Sorry, Jim Cornette, stealing your bit. Sorry, Mark's in the comments. So Big Bang has 939, so even less than usual. You can't give that to Dynamite. And then so Shibata Osprey, it goes down to 802. By the time that it ends, Danielson gets a video. Young Bucks are backstage. Then we get Okada with Young Bucks and Private Party. That goes all the way down to 711. 711. It goes up when, let's see, we got Darby has a video with Tony Hawk. Oh, yeah, that was so fucking cheesy. And then Jericho was backstage with Hook and was like, hey, man, I've never managed anyone in my career, but I really think you're awesome. So if you want, I'll manage you. I was like, no, dude. I was like, no, please, for the love of God. So I don't know, though. He got a little spike, though.
Look, Hook, at the end of the day, Hook is, they showed that Hook has something with the Joe match. And then all of a sudden it was, he's a little over, is he? Time to get involved.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm so young. So then, so they have their little angle with Renee Paquette, Renee Moxley, good. So then they get a little bit, they lose some ratings. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Anna Jay, Sky Blue. It goes through ads. It's too much. Then Dustin Rhodes is backstage and he gets challenged by the Butcher. And it's like, they've been on TV. So 672, we're at our lowest. Then we go to 654 for Undisputed Kingdom. So think about that. And then Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly backstage. Adam Copeland is on the lowest rated segment of the night. Edge is on the lowest rated segment of this fucking show. You guys, I mean, it's unbelievable. And then we get Strickland versus Konosuke, which does nothing. 658K.
Is that an overrun at the end there?
Yeah, of course.
So it got a little boost from the overrun.
Oh no, I gave you more time. 724. 724K, they get a little boost for Strickland, Konosuke continued, and
so
then
70,000 people tuned in for whatever Marvel movie was playing at the end.
Right, and then they were lucky enough to get Samoa Joe in a suit backstage going, oh, both these guys are fucking trash, and I'm gonna beat like fucking Swerve wants it, he can get it then finally.
Now, without the overrun and without the Big Bang Theory lead-in, where they did the little weird magic where like the last minute of Big Bang Theory is technically the first minute of AEW. They're doing. I think this week would have been under 700,000.
Oh, it would have. So they did. I was at. I think it was 774 or 744. Yeah. I actually have another tweet. Raj Giri will break it down. So they did 774 or 744. But if you factor in what Marv's saying, I mean, we're talking 6. Like we're talking NXT is going to start beating this shit in the ratings. And I think we talked on Tooney Talk Wrestling about live every Tuesday night about the fact that when they go to CW, that's probably going to happen on the regular. I mean, that's inevitable. So we have Raj Giri here. Yeah, so he has the numbers right here. I was wrong. It was 747. So I was around the ballpark. So this is per at the Raj Giri says AEW Dynamite garnered its second worst key demo 18 to 49 rating in show history in its regular time slot. The second worst in history. And its lowest audience in its regular.
That's okay though. The key demo doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter.
This week it definitely doesn't matter. But when they won the Friday Night War by beating SmackDown on a night where it was on FX for 15 minutes in the key demo only, it was the greatest thing that's ever happened. Yeah, we won the Friday Night War. Huh?
They're down 7% from last week and 15% in the key demo from last week, and year over year.
You'd assume that with Mercedes, like they should be trending upward if she's the face of the company now.
Yeah, and year over year, Dynamite was down 10%, while the key demo was down 18% year over year. Man, just a fucking utter embarrassment, and this is after Tooney talked all that shit to Eric Bischoff about, there's a fucking media deal potentially, and it's going to be great. And that's what brings us to Evil Dose.
You know what? Before you do that, Phil, can I just bring up one point here?
Yeah.
The damage that these people are now doing to their careers. So Tooney is paying big money for people like Mercedes, for people like Moxley, Jericho, Edge. Now, when they try to, we saw this when Moxley and Jericho reportedly, when they tried to go back to WWE wouldn't match what Tooney was offering. And that's the problem here. And they have now proven that they are not draws. They have proven that the company actively suffers with them as part of it. They have no drawing power outside the WWE machine. WWE is doing fine. The problem is now, in order to go back, Moxley, Jericho, Edge, Mercedes, they will all have to take a pay cut. And I can't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see any of them doing it, and especially, and then a pay cut and more dates.
Yeah.
So, but here we have Tooney Talk Wrestling episode 1. So, guys, I appeared on this over here, and I'll be back over on Marv's show on Tuesdays. And whenever he'll have me, whenever I'm welcome,
whatever you want, you're always welcome, my friend.
Thanks, brother. And it was a great fucking time. It was a unique experience. I enjoyed it, man. Look at the views it's got. You killed it, dude. You're crushing.
It went pretty well. So good, I'm very happy with it.
I'm fucking proud of you here. We're gonna get you this SEO score. We're gonna build that up right there. I'm gonna give you some yeah. I got you, brother. I got you. Oh, Thanks. Hairline's trying to get back in here for a minute.
There we go.
And so on this show here, you got a nice super chatter here. And let's just watch this clip. This is Evil Dose has the plug, and he says, yo, I actually have an insider on this. And so Tooney earlier in the show, just to preface it again, we've been teasing it all show. He said media deal to Eric Bischoff, and Dose says, well, he might be looking at like Roku or so. So let's listen to what he says.
By the way, everyone thinks Dose is wearing a ski mask there. It's actually like a Cthulhu mask. Like it's got tentacles, but you couldn't see it.
He should have been wearing like a bright shirt, dude. I noticed that, and it's awesome. I didn't know. I thought it was a ski mask at first too, but then when I saw him, like he got up at one point or something. He moved.
I know.
God!
It's like he's telling. It's like he's saying that we kidnapped Tony Stark and we're gonna kill him if you don't pay us money.
Oh yeah, no, it's like your own Excalibur. It's great.
Halo,
right.
$5. Thank you so much. He says, any rumors on AEW's TV deal? I heard TK turned down an offer from WBD, which if true is asinine for a company shedding fans. I hadn't heard that rumor. That he turned something down.
I would imagine either, but it wouldn't shock me.
Really, yeah. I figured he was going to just take whatever they gave him.
Well, the thing is
this is what my information is. So,
okay, Dose has got the info.
Yeah, now I think it's good info. I can't verify it because the person who's going to go on the record actually left WBD, and before they left, I'm not going to say gender. They went to another network and they signed an NDA on their way out. So I lost my source.
Oh, NDAs are great.
But what I was told is that the negotiations were worlds apart. Going a year ago, the Tooney overvalued everything, and that WBD wanted some ownership and control creative control over the product.
That's interesting.
And
He's never
that
that would make sense that he would turn them down. He's never giving anyone else creative control over that product. The only reason he's doing this is because
right there. I mean, boom, that's a huge bombshell.
Oh yeah, big.
So that's huge. And then I think he goes on to say, well, he's probably, because I think I asked him like, well, what about TruTV? He brings up TruTV. I can't remember, but that's what I was digging around in, asking around, snooping.
Well,
at people. I'm like, is that TruTV? Is there smoke to that? And
look at the way they're marketing the networks now. TBS is where comedy lives. That's where you got the Big Bang Theory. You got Young Sheldon. You got the Impractical Jokers. Like you've got all this stuff on TBS. And then TruTV is where they're marketing their sports. It just makes sense that they would move Dynamite there if they still have it. But Tony's not going to want to go to TruTV because WCW wasn't on TruTV. I think he gets off on the fact that he's on the networks that WCW was on because he was a WCW mark. And he's got championships named after these networks.
I know.
Which was the dumbest thing ever. Like, could you imagine WWE had like a Spike TV championship?
Fucking just a clown show. So Dose goes on.
He wants to book this product.
Right. And then they walked away and they've been away ever since.
So how long ago would that have been, if you don't mind me asking?
This was going into where we now it was going. This was going into the fall. So and that's when I haven't heard anything since the fall. But when they got out of the exclusive negotiating time, they were still talking, but it wasn't going anywhere. It was mostly Tony contacting them and them like, yeah, everything's great. But no,
it's great. Everything's great.
Everything's great. No, we're not interested in Ring of Honor.
I make the joke on the show too. Yeah, of course.
No, we're not interested in Max unless, those kinds of things. And he wasn't interested in the unlesses, and he really thinks he's going to get like a 3 or 4 times increase. And they're like,
oh my God.
We'll give you a 1.4 for Dynamite. And Rampage and Collision, I'm not sure we're going to keep them, but maybe we'll put them on TruTV. And
that's what I was going to just ask you. Did you hear anything about TruTV? Because so what WBD said is they want to, like, they publicly made some statement about they want to sort of rebrand TruTV to be kind of sports and entertainment. And what I assumed was Tony's not vocal about any WBD deal, really. He's just going, it's great about everything like he always does, because they want to stick the whole product on TruTV if they keep it, and that he's like, fuck that. But what you're saying also makes a lot of sense as well. So thanks for shedding that light, man.
And now you got an actual
so I mean, fucking Dose just dropped to me. Like if
I was not expecting that. Like he hadn't he hadn't told me beforehand that he had information on that. So like I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah, man, pleasantly, dude. That was absolutely awesome. So basically this was Tony Khan's Meltdown AEW Trashcast 3. Again, Marv, you gotta come on where we're not just trashing AEW.
I would love to. I would love to come talk about like happy things and things that I like. I like Samoa Joe.
I think we should do some Patreon content with him.
With Marv, watch
some shit you like. Like
I was gonna say I wanted you guys to also come on my Patreon, because I want to do a segment on my Patreon where I want it to be like Marv and guest watch wrestling. Yeah, where it's like we just watch matches and like comment on, do like commentary tracks over it. So you guys are always more than welcome to do that. I'd be happy to come do it on yours as well. We're allies. We're like Nerdrotic and heels versus babyface.
Exactly, man. We're riding
Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker.
Yeah, we're riding the wave, as I like to put it. But I'm a hippie dippy, as you guys know. But Marv, while you're going ahead there and plug in future plans and business talk, why don't you do a little business and plug what you got going on here, and we'll wrap the show up.
YouTube.com/@Toon Wrestling. We got the Headlock Headlines, our comedy special every single week, where we got our Triple H and Tooney Khan characters that come on and they talk the news with me. Facelock Features, which is me taking more in-depth looks at things. Tooney Talk Wrestling every single Tuesday, and I'm going to start cutting up the episode and posting with clips starting tomorrow. Good. And then we've got our Patreon over at Patreon. Patreon.com/TooneyTown Wrestling. We've got a $1, $5, $10, and $12.99 a month tiers there. For the $12.99 a month is literally the same as the $10 a month, but you just get the peace of mind of knowing that your $12.99 is safe from Dave Meltzer. I'm holding on to it for you. But yeah, so patreon.com/Tooney Talk Wrestling. We do a lot of exclusives over there. We're going to be, we released the
a 5-minute loop of the TK Tony Khan rap that we do. I'm doing like reviews of things over there, like audio and video reviews. We're posting all of our song parodies and face lock features early over there, so a lot of exclusive content going on over there.
Hell yeah. So everyone, round of applause for Marv. Thanks so much for being here. We threw it together, a last minute thing. We're just like, oh shit, me and Hairline are like, we got to roast Tony. We got to go over this shit. Hit up Marv. I know you want to get in on this, and it worked out. So thanks so much for being here as always.
Thank you for having me. I always love it.
Of course. And everyone go check out @Toon Wrestling. Hairline, what do you got to plug? Hair plug, hairline plug.
Well, I would just most of all, I wanted to say that I sure hope that I don't find myself in some situation where I have to sing the never-ending story theme with my long-distance girlfriend.
He's doing the outro. @ProWrestleTimes, @ProWrestleClips, Saturday live show. You guys already know the deal. Upside down. See you in the upside down.